That's it. I'm sorry. That was extremely anticlimactic. I mean, I talked about it last episode. I'm like, wait, Maribel, this is your plan? Like, you better have some crazy ace up your sleeve. And she didn't. She legit didn't. I think, like, this entire episode, I was convinced that Maribel was dumb. Like, every now and then it would do the whole, like, oh, that was according to plan. This was my real plan. And, oh, I didn't underestimate you. You underestimated me. Like, keeps doing that whole thing there. But, like, that was it? You had a holy field? Like, you didn't know that he overcame that? Like, everybody was, like, repeating everything that happened, like, the last few... I guess she didn't get that information specifically, but, like, it feels like she did none of her research. Like, as much as everybody is so tuned in on what's happening, again, with him becoming a demon lord and everything like that, which she knows about, like, what was the end goal here? Like, she was extremely stupid. The only way that I can really sort of, like, answer to it, and again, how Maribel was so foolish here, is the fact that it sort of has Yuki say something to this effect, and the narration at the end. This idea that, like, if you were born, like, 10 years earlier, you probably could have ruled this world. There was a sense of, like, her life was cut too short. This idea that she rose to power, and she was just too young to really realize what she was getting into. Her previous life, she had the power. And again, it was through, like, money and military and stuff like that. She had everything in her previous life, and she came into this one kind of expecting it to work the same way. Get control of the money. Everything's good. I got it. But this world has demon lords and magical powers and anti-skills. Anti-skills. Okay, wait. We're gonna get into that. Hold on. This was anticlimactic. Maribel's story, which is unfortunate because it feels like we spent, like, at least a season and a half. Like, she was appearing at some point last season. I think it was the earliest. But anyways, she started becoming very prevalent last season, and it feels like we went so much into this just for her to just be like, it's such a horrible play. Like, this entire thing was a horrible play, and again, probably by design, and it just really feels like her character's wasted for the sake of showing how OP Yuki is. That's really what it feels like, and which sucks for me personally, because for those who've been, watching my coverage of the series, I hate Yuki, and this episode just made me hate him more. Like, he is such a deus ex machina character now. Like, before, he's just kind of this annoying dude that's constantly cackling in the background and going, I'm gonna get everything, I have ambitions, and now it's, I have ambitions with deus ex machina powers, so I'm gonna always be around. He's always gonna be around at this point now. I just know he's never gonna go anywhere. It's fine, but yeah, that was again, very unfortunate for Maribel's character. I was really hoping for more of her character, because I really do feel like she's sort of a interesting look into an individual who had everything, now has nothing. I kind of expected, especially with her, being confronted with Grenville, that she would have learned the idea of how she can't control everything, that she sort of has to work with some things, but she didn't learn that from Grenville. Instead, she learned from Grenville this desire to push further into her own desires of ruling everything. And in the end, it just kind of turns this whole thing where she's sort of like Yuki in the idea that she has these great ambitions, but she doesn't know when to pull back. Yuki is somebody that has ambitions to rule everything, but he knows when to, pull his cards and when to, hold them. She doesn't know that. Again, that leads into this whole stupid thing where she's useless in the end. In the end, she's absolutely useless. And her power, again, seems to just go to fuel Yuki and his desires to go forward. But that aside, decent fight overall, though, with Rimuru, kind of turning it from initially, I'm going to try to control you. That didn't work. Okay, let me use this individual, like, totally enhanced up. That didn't work. Okay, let me try to use your greed to live, to die. That was actually a really cool method, but again, I didn't assume it was going to work. Like, oh yeah, Rimuru's dead now. No. Rimuru's like, yeah, whatever. That didn't work. Moving on. That was an interesting use of her ability. The idea, because I was assuming that it was going to be a desire for coexistence that she would play off of, but she just used the desire to live, which is really cool. How it reverses is the interesting thing. Like, I'm really digging into this because I'm assuming that Yuki's going to start using this in the future. But that ability is interesting, the idea of being able to reverse it. I'm wondering how that's going to play out. And again, if Yuki himself will end up utilizing that. Using people's desires for things and greed for things against them in a reverse method. So if you have a desire to live, right here, you can make them have a desire to die. If you have a desire for money, you can make them give up all their money. That kind of stuff, which would be interesting how it kind of plays out later on. But yeah, eventually, bringing Yuki in the picture and running away. Having, like, the entire rug pulled out from underneath her by, oh, there was never a power plant to begin with. There was never a power plant in this place to begin with, which kind of made sense to, again, that being brought up before is like, yeah, that's going to happen. Because they brought up the fact that that can blow up an entire region, she's going to go for that. I'm curious how she planned to get out of there. Like, you were planning on setting off this power plant, and then what? It said that it could take out an entire region. Were you planning on teleporting? Like, what was Mary Bell's end game right here? Does setting it off inside there, are you safe in there and everything else explodes? Like, what was your end game plan here, girl? It was kind of a what? Anyways, that aside, let's get into Yuki. Because this is obviously the biggest thing in this episode was the reveal around Yuki. And again, I seen this coming from a mile away. Actually, again, my assumption was that he was going to have a unique skill because that was brought up. And it seems to imply that it's not the fact that he had a unique skill. He has some ability to create skills. Which again, Deus Ex Machina character here. He's going to be able to pull out anything that he needs whenever he needs it and thus facilitate whatever he wants. The writer sort of opened a door here of something that could either be, yeah, it could be clever, but I rarely see it ever used in a clever way. We'll see. I'm not gonna 100% doubt this writer. I've never been like extremely impressed by the writing overall, so I don't really necessarily see anything great's gonna come from this. But yeah, just out of nowhere, talks about the fact that he created an anti-skill ability, which facilitated the fact that he was never controlled in the end. He's always been faking it. Now, why he was working along with Mary Bell, that's the question mark. My assumption is that he was doing it in order to, I guess, blame everything on Mary Bell. In the end, if he can act like he was being controlled, blame it all on Maribel, and then he can gain Remedu's trust and then kill Remedu. There's a couple problems with that, though, is that, one, he almost died to Remedu. Like, that's a lot of assumptions that he made there. And now, granted, he could the entire time had the confidence that whatever Remedu used on him, he was going to overcome it, or he was going to survive it, and in the end, be able to get around it. It seemed like he had the potential to kill Remedu. He's able to get past his defenses by physically hitting him, but it doesn't seem like he went through with it. Maybe he assumed at some point, no, even if I do a direct hit on him with my fist or whatever and get past that defenses, it's not going to be enough to kill him. He may have been kind of just testing the limits there and trying things out. In the end, it could have turned into a thing where potentially he wanted Mary Bell's enhancement ability in order to enhance himself to see if he can use that to kill Remedu. In the end, I think it's like a lot of testing, while at the same time throwing the blame. The annoying thing is, in the end, is the fact that at the end of it all, Remedu believes this. I'm sorry, that whole thing was stupid. The end of it was kind of stupid. It's like, no, I'm going to knock him out, and then I'm going to then take out Maribel, and that will release him. And then Cagley comes up there and is like, no, please don't do it. Forgive him. He was being controlled. We can snap him out of it. Don't worry. Isn't that right, Yuki? You can overcome this. And everybody's, yeah, overcome it. And he's like, oh, I'm cured. Remedu, Remedu, did you really believe that? Are we... Please, next episode, open up with Remedu going, or at least Raphael, like, popping up and saying, Remedu, no, that was just all a lie. He probably used the anti-skill to overcome it, or at least was never controlled in the begin with. Something like that. Please, Remedu, don't be that stupid. Don't be that dumb, please. He's gonna be. He's got it. Remedu, with all of his greatness, he does have a knack for being a little bit clueless. Okay, a lot clueless, but we'll see. But no, I was kind of impressed by the fact that Yuki went head-to-head with Shion. Because they've implied before that even Shion can kill Remedu. It was during the fight with the clergy. It says something to the effect that she has this ability within her chef ability, which, was it called, like, a certain outcome or something like that? Where, like, she can create an outcome that's, like, not logical or something like that. It's something that thick. It implied that. I think they at some point maybe described the whole thing there, but still, it's like, with this situation here, yes, he has the anti-skill, which should block certain outcome, but certain outcome has the ability to create things that are not logical or whatever. It's like the whole, like, unstoppable force meets immovable object. Which one wins at the end? Is she able to overcome something that overcomes skills, or does the anti-skill always block the skill no matter what it overcomes? But not that it seemed like she was going all out, but it is still kind of interesting to see that even Shion who I think is kind of touted as being one of the stronger characters in this entire cast, and even somebody that like took on Clayman, a demon lord. She was still beat by him, which implies that Yuki has the potential of being a demon lord, even though he's not seemingly at that point yet. Anyway, but no, going back to the anti-skill, it seems to imply the fact that having that present on him was allowing him to get past Rimurud's, like, universal barrier, which is odd that it implies that it has to be strictly, like, him physically and does not apply to weapons. It's like you create a skill and yet you put a flaw in it that it doesn't apply to weapons. Like, just remake the skill. Like, this goes back to, like, sort of like this big conundrum that this anti-skill thing sort of creates, or at least the creation of an anti-skill skill, is the idea of where is the limits here? What is the potential here, and why is there limits to it? And what creates those limits? Like, again, when you create something like this, you're creating sort of this unknown area where anything can apply whenever the writer wants it. So it's like, why did he create the skill to not affect weapons? Why is it only affect whenever he physically touches Rimurud? Why does it apply to Rimurud's skills but doesn't apply to anything else? Like, it kind of creates this massive conundrum. But that aside, the big, like, WTF here, obviously, is the fact that he said that he created it. So when he first arrived in this world, he created the anti-skill, which, does that imply that he can create any skill? Like, this is a, like, endless possibility character here that he can create. Can he create a universal barrier? He's presumably stole greed, so it doesn't seem like he can create anything. He felt like he needed that. Now, this could be a thing where he's able to create, like, lower level skills, but not necessarily like ultimate skills or unique skills. And so, again, them being unique, he had to take it from Maribel. And then again, there's the question right there. At the very end of the episode, it shows him potentially steal Maribel's greed. So he has a skill to steal skills? Question mark? Does he have, like, you know, a gluttony kind of thing like Rimurud, which would make him pretty much equal to Rimurud in power, but having the ability to create whatever he wants, which technically Rimurud is doing his own little advancement of skills and all that kind of stuff. So they're kind of equal. It's sort of implying with this episode that both Yuki and Rimurud, in a sense, are equal. It's just that Yuki is devising skills in a different order than what Rimurud is doing. Like, they're both technically have the same capabilities. It's just that they're doing it in their own different ways. But either way, I'm guessing that means that Yuki going forward is going to be going around and using greed skill to corrupt people and bring them under his wing. And so this whole, like, mind control stuff is not going anywhere. Anyways, other than that, had the guy from Rance, he got completely obliterated, which ripped there. And they had to... The other guy was, I forgot, he was with the battle mages or whatever. Like, he's this guy that's obsessed with Glinda, and he was just there because he thought that Glinda was dead. Why didn't you tell him that she was alive? That was dorky. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the episode. Rip, Maribel, your potential was completely squashed. You were completely useless as a story. At least you had a cool ED. Your ED was really cool. You doing some weird, like, symbolism thing of, like, I don't know, honey, gold, water everywhere. That's, I guess, supposed to symbolize you taking over the world. But in the end, all you did was facilitate to make Yuki look OP. And shrug, give him some abilities in the end. But, oh well. Looking forward to the next episode. I'm looking forward to seeing Milim and the dragon, that whole thing. Hopefully it's not too painful to watch, but either way, we'll see. But that's my thoughts on the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. Until next time, y'all take care.